Alrighty, we are moving right along. We are going to do the perception chapter, which is chapter 6 of Unit 3. The way that we perceive the world is everything. My perception of an event might differ from your perception of an event. If you've ever gotten in an argument with someone and you're like, we just can't see eye to eye, right? We just don't get each other. That's because your perception of that event is different. And it's really, really, really hard to make someone else understand how you perceive things. Remember, you are only responsible for what you say, not for what other people understand. And when we start to get something in our mind of how something should be or what we expect it to be, when reality doesn't meet that is kind of where this disappointment sets in. How do you see your glass? How do you view the world? What's your perception of the world? Is it half full, half empty? These are some funny different ways that people perceive the glass. Some of them are inappropriate. I apologize. I love this one. When you're a high school senior, right, you think you're mature, you're an adult. I can't even tell you the amount of times I've heard high school boys especially say, I'm a grown man. But of course, when you're 20 and you look back at your 16-year-old self, you will quickly realize you are not a grown man. And 20-year-olds are also usually not grown men. You don't grow up until you're like 35 or something. I don't know. I haven't gotten there yet. What do you see when you look at this picture? Do you see a car? Anyone see a man, a woman, a child? Anyone see an animal? What about a whip? What about a fish? What about a ball? A hat? Two different things people see in this picture. One is a seal balancing a ball on its nose with a trainer in front of it with a fish in its hand and a whip. The other way you can see that is that there's a woman in a ball gown reaching out for a man's hand who's in a suit, and they're going off to this formal gala. If you see the seal, which is what I see first when I look at this, here's the seal, here's its back, it's balancing a ball on its nose, it's waiting to get this treat, which is the fish in the hand. Here's the man's arm and head, and he's holding this sword, or not sword, whip. That's one way you can perceive this painting. Or if you see the woman in the ball gown, you're going to see that she has some type of frilly little feather thing on her head. Here's her shoulders, her back, her ball gown. He's holding some type of hat he's going to put on. And again, of course, you can see him in his suit, right? So why do we perceive things differently? The conclusion is that we use top-down processing. We go beyond sensory information. So when we look at this painting, we're not just picking out, oh, there are black and white lines, right? We're trying to make meaning of that picture. What does it mean to you? What do you see? Humans do not like when things do not make sense. We hate it. We always try to make sense of the world. That's the top-down processing. And what we expect to see drives this process. Our experiences of the world, how we've grown up, our experiences of things in the past will dictate how we perceive the world in the present. And what we expect to see, and when we don't see what we expect to see, we get frustrated, right? So the first step in perception is attention. In order to perceive something, in order to make sense of it, you have to pay attention to it. We sense over 11 million bits of information per second, but we're only consciously processing about 40 bits of that information. The process by which we attend to those things is called selective attention. But even in selective attention, you can miss things. Let me show you this video.
The monkey business illusion. Count how many times the players wearing white pass the ball. The correct answer is 16 passes. Did you spot the gorilla? For people who haven't seen or heard about a video like this before, about half miss the gorilla. If you knew about the gorilla, you probably saw it. But did you notice the curtain changing color or the player on the black team leaving the game? Let's rewind and watch it again. Here comes the gorilla, and there goes a player, and the curtain is changing from red to gold.
So a lot of you have seen that video before. You should have read about it in your book. But over half of the participants in the study, when told to watch that video, they did not see the gorilla go through. This should be frightening to you. I mean, think about that. We would like to think that we saw something, especially a gorilla, walk through 6 people, but most of us don't. And I will be honest with you, when I first saw the video, I didn't see the gorilla either. Here's another example. This is an x-ray, and I'm not a doctor, but it's an x-ray of the lungs. They did a study where they showed this x-ray to radiologists. These are doctors who have done special training in reading x-rays. And over half of those doctors did not pick out the gorilla in the x-ray. I find this to be terrifying because this is what they do. Here is the dancing gorilla in the x-ray. So my husband is a physician, he's a doctor, and I emailed this photo to him and I said, what does this look like to you? What type of disease of the lungs? And he emailed me back and he said, this looks like monkey lungs. So I was so thankful that my husband was selectively attending to the x-ray and that he did in fact notice the gorilla. Now, let me show you another video.
Most of us think we're pretty observant, but with a bit of mind control, I wanted to see if I could make these people take even the most obvious things for granted. Excuse me, do you know how to get to Trinity Church from here?
Yeah. You see that church down there?
Yep, straight through there.
And then you keep going down.
Sorry.
Sorry, which way? You see that church is down there?
Yeah.
You stay on that, which is, I believe, Broadway. And then you walk down 2 or 3 blocks, and Trinity Church is on the right-hand side. We're walking in that direction.
Excuse me, you don't know where Trinity Church is, do you?
Might be Wall Street and Broadway.
Okay. Well, we're down here somewhere, aren't we?
Yeah, you see, Trinity Church.
Oops, sorry.
Sorry. Yeah. By the Trinity Church. By the, yeah. If you keep going that way, you'll end Broadway, then you go down a couple of blocks. And
Thanks very much. That seemed almost too easy. So later on, I see how far I can take it. Excuse me, do you know where Trinity Church is?
It's in that direction.
Okay.
Yeah.
Last time I switched with someone who looked a little bit like me, but where's the fun in that?
what do you think? Yeah.
You know who best direct you? The other side. You see where that lady's standing?
Sure.
That's the pool. No, the lady in the gray.
The other side.
Yeah, the other side of the
But you
pool.
say you don't know where it is?
Exactly what street? No, but it's in that direction.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Excuse me. Do you know where Trinity Church is from here?
Yeah, fine. Come on, I'll take you. Or you want to walk now?
I'm gonna catch some other people.
Sorry, guys.
What do you think?
Once you go on Broadway,
Yes.
remember the numbers are going.
I couldn't swear with the other guy.
Once you hit the Broadway, you're going down.
Yes.
Walk up straight
that
that
way.
way and just walk straight down. You're gonna see it. It's right. It's really brown.
That's brilliant. Thanks for your
All
help.
right, fine. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Excuse me. Do you know where Trinity Church is? Ah, great. Where are we on here? We sort of there.
Right here.
Right through. Thank you.
Go on. We are Brooklyn Bridge. You want to cross over there, go down Broadway, and you'll be right there. Okay. Thank you.
Excuse me, mate. Do you know this area? Do you know the area? Do you know where Piccadilly Circus?
Oh, you're the trick.
So through there?
Yeah, through there. That's through. Let's just turn.
Sorry, go on for me. Where?
If you keep going this way,
This way.
that's it because it's.
Oh, thank you very much. Oh, careful of a car. Cheers, mate. Thank you. Excuse me, are you familiar with this area?
No.
No. Okay, all right.
We kind of left
Piccadilly Circus?
Piccadilly Circus. Couple
Yeah.
miles from here. Piccadilly Circus is
Oh,
right
sorry.
here.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, which?
I just thought right here.
Okay, so is that straight over?
Definitely not that way. Piccadilly Circus is, I know it's that direction.
Over
So,
that way.
I'm sorry, here we go.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry, can you just trying to work out where I'm going.
We are here.
Right, okay.
Yeah, I think it's sort of down there.
I'm sure that wouldn't have worked quite as well if I was a very famous pop star. Well, it took me over 2 hours to find Francesco's keys, which was disappointing, but I did go to Venice for free, and I didn't fall into the canal on the way home like a twat.
Okay, so hopefully you caught what was going on in the video before too many of the trials that they were doing. But even when they switched out gender, even when they switched out hair, even when they switched out race, skin color, people still didn't notice. This is that selective attention. We just are focusing so much on other things that we miss a lot of what goes on in every second of every day. Now, one of the reasons why they probably didn't recognize it, or at least didn't say anything, is because where is their attention focused on in that scenario? It's focused on the map. They are not looking at the person, they are looking at the map. And remember, sight is the most powerful of our senses. Now, the other thing that can happen with your senses is your auditory, your hearing can be affected. This is the cocktail party effect. If you've ever been in a loud room, think about the cafeteria or at a party where there's a lot of people talking to one another and you can kind of, you just hear the murmur, but you're really selectively attending to what it is the person you are looking at is saying. Now, let's say that you're over here having a conversation with someone, but someone over here calls your name. You are probably going to be able to hear your name in that crowd. The cocktail party effect was where you're selectively attending to bits and pieces of information. Now, with eyesight, there's a lot of illusions that can happen. The Muller-Lyer illusion, which of these two lines is longer? Most people are going to say the bottom line, but in reality, they are the same exact link. It's all in how you perceive the world. This is not a giant man. This is not a teeny man. This is the Ames room, Philip Zimbardo's Ames room. This room is actually on a slant. This guy right here is closer, physically closer to us than this guy, which makes it appear that he is in fact larger. Another illusion, the St. Louis Bridge, is it taller than it is wide? Truth is, it's the exact same size, right? The exact same size. And in the next lecture, part 2 of this lecture, we will get down some notes since this part was mostly videos.